Greece, at its most picturesque. Year after year, the white houses and the deep blue sea delight countless tourists. Cruises to the scattered Aegean islands are as much a part of their holiday schedule as the sun, the sea, and relaxing on board. Professor Volker Dietrich and his team have no time for sunbathing. For the scientists, this is a working day like any other. The volcanologists from the universities of Zurich and Lausanne are tracking dormant volcanoes in the Aegean. Their choice of this region is no accident, because many of the Aegean islands stand on the remains of ancient volcanoes. Even today, they are a tourist attraction for the visitors to Kos and Nisyros. The hot springs of Kos are not just popular with tourists and bathers. Such natural phenomena provide researchers with an insight into underground activity. These tourists are at the eastern edge of a gigantic submerged volcano, which erupted 160,000 years ago. It was the largest explosion ever to occur in the eastern Mediterranean. Even in this marginal area, and after such a long time, hot water still issues forth. We want to know whether a chemical analysis will show that traces of magma from this ancient volcanic eruption are still present deep underground. The scientists have already discovered that there are enormous quantities of liquid magma at a depth of 20 to 30 and to a minor extent as little as 7 kilometers, directly beneath these hot springs. The regular measurements also contribute to the permanent survey of this volcanic region. They are linked to the National Disaster and Civil Protection Center in Athens. At more than 20 measuring stations, the Greek Seismological Service uses seismographs to monitor underground activity. Earthquakes with a magnitude of 3 or more on the Richter scale are measured every day in Greece. Most of these are not noticed by the public because they take place underwater. The experts disagree about the extent to which earthquakes lead directly to volcanic eruptions. But one thing is sure, earthquakes are still not predictable. However, any seismic activity is an important indication in the early detection of waking volcanoes.
AC, less than .ac .uk.
The measurements of the geo-worn scientists make it possible for the first time to detect waking volcanoes at an early stage.
We have now a very long experience. We know the area in details. And if something will happen, then it would be for us a first indication.
In 1996 and 1997, such warning signs caused fear and terror among the inhabitants of the volcanic island of Nisyros. The earth shook for months on end. The inhabitants of the tiny island make their living from the attraction of the volcano. But these earth tremors unnerved many of them. The owner of this photographic gallery has still not got over the experience.
I was in my gallery and I fixed my pictures, and just in some seconds all my frames goes down, and you feel the chairs in the coffee shop to jumping.
After 8 months it was quiet again, but respect for the volcano remains.
The only that I can say, you must respect Volcano. It's not one attraction for the tourists, it's a really volcano.
The crater on Nisyros is the attraction in the Aegean. Hundreds of tourists throng the Stephanos crater every day to marvel at this wonder of nature. For the geo-worn scientists, this island is one of the best outdoor laboratories in Europe. The last major eruption occurred 20,000 years ago. But the volcano is not extinct. It is just asleep. With the help of gas samples, the scientists track events down to a depth of 20 kilometers. The composition of the emerging gases enables the behavior of fluids in the underground hydrothermal system and possibly the movements of the deeper magma to be determined. Every 3 months, the scientists extract samples from the depths of the volcanic underground. This constant monitoring is advisable because the latest results show movements in the magma and a constant rise in surface temperatures. The scientists are alarmed by this change. A satellite picture shows why. The tiny Stephanos pit lies inside the much larger volcanic crater and was created by an explosion that occurred several hundred years ago. Such explosions are almost impossible to predict. They occur when the hydrothermal system overheats, causing the underground pressure to suddenly rise.
Hydrothermal heißt, dass sehr heißes Wasser im
The term
Untergrund
hydrothermal
sitzt
indicates that
und
there
wenn
is
dieses
very
heiße
hot
Wasser
water underground.
über den Dampfdruck
If this comes under the thermal
Luftdruck
influence of
Wärmeeintrag,
magma,
sagen wir von
it will
einem
blow up,
aufsteigenden Magma,
rather like a
dann
pressure
geht
cooker
es in die
without a
Luft,
valve.
über einen Dampfkochtopf, wo der Deckel dann in die Luft fliegt, wenn kein Ventil drin ist.
This pressure cooker measures more than 300 meters in diameter. It doesn't bear thinking about what would happen if this bubbling soup of sulfuric acid were to suddenly explode. But fascination is stronger than fear.
Magnificent, you know? The glory of what God can do.
Afraid? I'm not afraid.
Das ist dann unser Schicksal. Sollte was passieren.
That would be hard luck.
Das wissen wir auch nicht, wenn wir herfliegen.
It last happened thousands of years ago. If it were to happen again now, it would just be fate. The scientists have no wish to tempt fate, but they have not yet made up their mind. We cannot say with certainty that it is dangerous at the moment. As soon as our measurements indicate that this is indeed the case, then a part of the crater will be closed. That is clear. The gigantic Nisyros crater is currently being constantly monitored by state-of-the-art scientific methods and with the aid of satellite-aided surveying systems. The once violent volcano has been asleep for thousands of years. But for the scientists, it is clear that vast quantities of hot magma are still simmering deep beneath the sea. One can only hope that it will be a long time before the slumbering giant wakes up.